What's up, all you good-looking people? This is episode 102 of the Fitness Realty podcast. I am your host, TJ McClelland, the broker of Fitness Realty. First thing I want to get out, I love you guys. Thank you so much. I know I don't say that enough, or I probably do, and you probably get sick of tired of hearing it, but I really do love you guys, so I want your lives to be enhanced. Okay, without further ado, let's jump into episode 102. It is all about the craziest market that anyone has ever seen in the history of the United States, and that is the year of 2020 and 2021. Obviously, you guys know, I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't know, probably, but during COVID, everything went crazy. People were at home, the government was printing money, people were getting cash checks sent to their house. People were making money just sitting at home, not doing their real jobs, or maybe they were doing their job, but really not doing a lot of it. There were people that were running multiple jobs at the same time because the whole stay at home, do work at home was really accelerating. And so I've heard of people carrying 2 or 3 full-time jobs that were at home work jobs. And nobody really knew what was going on. So their income skyrocketed and they were able to afford more home, or they were spending their money. The entire global economy really shifted during COVID and really accelerated, and especially in the United States, as all the COVID money was really poured into the system. A couple of things really changed with that as well, one of which was during COVID, people socked away a lot of money into their savings account, to the tune of $200 billion or something like that. And don't quote me on that. But they really rocketed up their savings account and put money away, because a lot of people were making money and they weren't spending as much money out there, just in the world, because they were in lockdown or they were at home and they could only go out and shopping once a week or whatever. So things were really different at the first beginning of COVID. And then you also had the government and the Fed that was well, the economy is really taking a hit. The stock market really plummeted and dipped almost overnight. You guys know it wasn't overnight, but it was pretty dang close. Everything rocketed down pretty quick. Anyway, so the Fed decided they were going to do Fed rate cuts, and they were already trending down, but they started cutting, just cut. And they eventually got to where the Fed funds rate was 0. And so when the Fed funds rate hit 0, the mortgage interest rates were hovering around 2.5, somewhere right around there. And mortgage companies were being super competitive. And so these super competitive mortgage companies were all bidding to try to make sure they were getting all these loans coming through. And so you had these companies bidding, and the mortgage interest rates went even further down. So you had people getting close to 2.0, or even sometimes people that got into the 1.9s and stuff like that in a mortgage interest rate, which is rock bottom. You really only see that type of interest rate on an introductory APR for a credit card for a little while, or you might see it on an introductory rate for a brand new car, but never a home. That mortgage locked in at a 30-year fixed interest rate at a 1.9% interest rate is crazy. So anyway, I'm just teeing it up that is the craziest market that we've ever seen. And that really helped expand the accelerated growth in purchasing power for the American public, and also accelerated the prices to just boom everywhere. I want to say something that is probably going to be controversial, though. So whenever I say the prices boomed, the flip side of that is all it really means is the value of the American dollar went down. A lot of people don't like to look at it in terms of devaluing our American currency, the backbone of the global economy, that's kind of shifting. So if you guys know anything about currency and the oil reserves and things like that, about the petrodollar, things are shifting there. And so I'm not going to talk about that because that's World Economic Forums and stuff like that. And I'm not the expert. But if you know anything about that, type it down below, because if you're the expert in the petrodollar or anything like that, I'd love to hear your opinions about that. So anyway, without going too far onto a tangent, the flip side, like I said, is every time that prices really accelerate, that just means that the value of the dollar really was declining. Obviously, you have economic pressures that were built into that as well. Obviously, in Utah, especially, more and more people were moving into Utah from every other state and bringing their families and their purchasing power and all of their cash. A lot of times when they sold in California, they might have sold at 1.5 million and maybe they made 750,000. And when they get to Utah, they're like, well, I can buy 3 homes instead of 1 and make 2 of them a rental because it's really cheap financing. They have tons of down payment money. And they had that down payment money, which put them ahead of somebody that was maybe using an FHA loan or a VA loan that could have been a local borrower. And so they really jumped in ahead of the line and bought sooner and faster than a lot of people, which accelerated the prices even more. So as you guys know, on this channel, I've said it before, during that time, we were in multiple offers on every single home, every listing. Even selling agents or listing agents in our market, we were just chucking up prices. And we were chucking up prices that we were like, no one will ever pay this because it's not like none of it pencils out. None of the comps would even support it sometimes. And somebody would come in, lo and behold, and we would get multiple offers on that price. And then the appraisal would come back, and a lot of times it's still appraised. Or there was a gap clause for the appraisal and people were just chucking money on top of it. So it was a crazy time. That is the craziest market that I think we will ever see in a 100-year stretch of our history. There will definitely be books. There will be podcast episodes about this forever. I don't think that there will ever be a time where we stop talking about how much economic drive and how much economic pressure really changed in 2020, 2021, and 22. It was just really insane. Now, let's kind of look at the flip side, kind of backwards looking at that. So during all those times, while it was just cranked full hard, like everybody was buying homes, everybody was getting cheap financing from the mortgage area. People were refinancing like crazy. Every single mortgage lender that I knew was making money hand over fist doing refis. And the main reason why was because as the Fed would crank down their interest rate, they would just refinance every single client every 6 months, just like clockwork. So the refinance sector went up like 5x in the matter of a three-year period, which was really crazy as well. So anyway, if you think about all those people that got really low interest rates during that time, now we're in this weird mix that those people will never be able to move. I shouldn't say never, but they're stuck into that mortgage interest rate and that home for the long haul because the interest rate is too good. So it created this inventory that's locked that really doesn't come unlocked unless a couple of things happen. One of them is something tragic. So if somebody passes away and that home goes to the heirs or ancestors or through probate or whatever, then it's going to get hawked and it unlocks that piece of inventory. But that's so few and far between, and it really made the inventory hard. To where if a person died, that piece of inventory comes unlocked, or if a person gets a new job somewhere else and they have to sell, then that maybe unlocks that piece of inventory. Another one might be if a family like really grows and just explodes inside that house, they may feel, oh, we've just got to get something that's bigger, no problem. Then they might sell. Or if somebody's like, well, I retired and I'm moving to Florida, then they might sell a piece of property as well. But those were so few and far between comparative to normal inventory markets, where if the interest rates are really close and similar to each other as we go through the years, the inventory becomes unlocked and at an easier rate because people are like, okay, I've got a 5% interest rate, no problem. I may get a 5.5 when they upsize or upgrade to a bigger home, or if they downsize, then they'll take that leap more effectively than where they're locked in the 2020, 21, and 22 cycle. Anyway, with the Fed funds rate, and it was kind of really low, everything really cranked. So anyway, long story short, 2020 and 2021 and 2022 was the craziest market that's ever been seen in the United States history of real estate, economy, global economy. It really was a wild time. I hope that you found value in this video. Something that really encourages me is to find patterns in or find pattern recognition. So if I ever see the Fed funds rate really grinding down towards zero, I'm going to just start hawking stuff like to buy more homes because I know that there's a great chance that I will be able to hold on to that asset for a really long time and to really be able to capitalize on that market and accelerate my own wealth portfolio because that Fed funds rate and mortgage interest rate would just be so low. It would be amazing. So anyway, this is episode 102, all about the craziest market that we've ever seen in history. If you found value out of this video, please like, share, and comment down below. Give me your thoughts. What do you guys think? Do you think that we'll ever see a new craziest market? In my opinion, in our lifetimes right now, I doubt that. But maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll see the collapse of the dollar, and that would be kind of wild. And that would be the craziest market that we've ever seen. Anyway, I don't want to end on a doomsday device, but yeah, I just threw that bomb out there, and I hope that you found that's probably a nuke right into your face. Sorry about that. Anyway, this is episode 102. I love you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.